Hey everybody, it's 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock is with me, Father Warner. We are in Wednesday of the Holy Week and our text today is taken from Isaiah chapter 50 verses 4 to 9a. The Gospel of today is taken from Matthew chapter 26 verse 14 to 25. Now, I just want to tell you that if you go to the description box, there's no word like description box, but just below the video, you'll find a little narrative. Click on it and it will take you to what is called the description box, and there you'll find links to my previous teachings on Matthew. But for today I want to talk about Isaiah chapter 50, and I've entitled today's teaching, The Power of His Love. You have to pardon me, today I'm wearing my prosthetic because I'm struggling a bit with my face. I had a mild facial palsy again. Now, tomorrow we will step into the sacred Triduum. Monday, Thursday, Good Friday and Holy Saturday, Easter is called together the sacred Triduum. Triduum, 3 days. But for today, the first reading presents us with the third song of the servant of Yahweh. The fourth and the last song of the servant will be read during the Good Friday liturgy. Now, we have focused on Monday and Tuesday on the first and the second of the servant song. Today is the third, and on Good Friday the fourth. It's very beautifully how beautifully the liturgy is structured. Yeah, and go back and do a little study on the servant songs. Now, the third servant song of Isaiah was written almost 600 years before the events of Jesus's triumphal entry into Jerusalem and the passion that followed. But it is almost as if Isaiah, one of the greatest prophets, it's almost like he was standing in Jerusalem witnessing what happened to Jesus and describing it in his wonderfully poetic language. And that poetic language is seen in the text today. The Lord God has opened my ear, and I was not rebellious. I did not turn backwards. I gave my back to those who struck me. I gave my cheeks to those who pulled out the beard. I did not hide my face from insult and spitting. It's almost as if Isaiah is standing there watching as Jesus goes through his passion and his suffering. Now, Jesus is the obedient Son of the Father. He was obedient unto death on a cross. The words that we hear also on Good Friday. Christ became obedient unto God, unto that death on the cross. And therefore, because of his obedience, God raised him up and gave him a name that is greater than any other name, that at the name of Jesus every knee shall bow and every tongue shall profess his glorious name. Now, the same obedience may not be said entirely of you and me. And that the people of Israel were obedient, I don't think it could be said of them at all, because they were the ones who rejected him time and time again. You know, in Jesus, in his pain, Jesus will speak love. In his pain, he will speak forgiveness. And Isaiah reminds us of those words which are alluded to Christ. He has given me, as he says today, in today's text, Isaiah says, He has given me a disciple's tongue so that I may know how to sustain the weary with the world. A disciple's tongue gives the weary sustenance. In my own suffering, I sustain other people with my words. And Jesus spoke comfort from the cross, not once, but from the cross we have 7 times, 7 words of Jesus. And while some of those words he spoke of himself or to his Father, there were words to us that were meant to bring comfort, words to sustain the weary. Son, behold your mother. Words to sustain. Woman, behold your son. From the cross, he is sustaining us, the weary. So it is truly a great soul who even in their suffering can think of the comfort and care of others around. Jesus, with his disciples' tongue. Some translations have it, the tongue of a teacher. But Jesus, with his disciples' tongue, teaches even while he hangs on the cross. Now, the reading of today, my dear friends, anticipating the suffering of Christ on Good Friday, reminds us that Jesus, for our sake, submits to insults and beatings. The servant makes no resistance to his attackers. He will not meet violence with violence. He does not choose to retaliate. For to do so would be to bring himself down to the level of his attackers. And we should always remember this. This week I had someone, a priest, who on a priest group was sending barbs after barbs against me for some reason, and I knew what he was doing. But thanks to Father Michael and the missions, I picked up and I said, Father, you are so many years older than me. If you have something to say, tell me. I will say, I'm sorry if I've hurt you. I've not said anything to you, but what I have said in general has affected you, and I'm sorry. And you are a senior priest. You are older than me. You have a right to correct me. And Father, if you are offended by me, call me and tell me. But your age and your maturity should not make you do things like putting it on a WhatsApp group in a subtle way. And I found that grace to do it, and I'm grateful to God. So we have to learn this. Jesus offers his back for a beating. He offers it. Yeah? A beating on a back was given only to criminals, and you'll see this in the Passion of Christ. And it was not, I think the word beating is a very mild word I'm using. It requires great inner strength not to respond in kind to such evil and provocation when it comes, because the first thing that comes to our mind is, I will give it to you and I will give it to you back 10 times more. But I want to say this to you. When it is undergone, when persecution is undergone with dignity, listen to this very carefully. When persecution is undergone with dignity, it is the attacker who seems small, not you. Your attacker is made to feel small. Not your intention to make him small, but he becomes small. And that is why Jesus says, when they slap you on one cheek, offer the next. Now, I want to make this very clear that this is not weakness, because many people look at these teachings of Jesus as weakness. It is not weakness, but a sign of great inner strength and peace. So, we could reflect today on how we respond to criticism. Statements about us we regard as unfair, or statements regarding us that are even untrue. So we have to ask ourselves, am I prone to physical or verbal violent response when people persecute and attack me? If he gave me one word, I give him 4 or 40 words. In fact, we say this, I gave that person good. Yeah, we say it. What good did it do you by giving him good? What good did it do you? It didn't do you any good. In fact, after you gave him good, you had to tell yourself 10 times that you gave it to him good for you to feel good. And even then it doesn't feel good. So even if we do not respond externally, the other thing we need to ask is, do we allow statements and events to turn us internally into cauldrons of anger, hatred, anxiety, and tension? I was once speaking to a superior of mine, I won't tell you who, and I could see that he was getting more and more agitated. And at one point of time, he banged his hand on the table, and I said to him, well, I can see that I am upsetting you. I don't mean to, but what I'm saying is upsetting you. Maybe we should stop, because we are friends, and maybe we should meet again when we are both able to speak out of love. And the person banged the hand again and said, I'm not angry. Well, it shows, because what is happening inside will manifest on the outside. But it's even worse. We speak of some people being very silent people. That's not a good thing, because you're boiling. It's boiling and boiling. You become cauldrons of anger and bitterness. So as Holy Week unfolds before us, we are all called by God to remember to relive in the best way we can the story of Jesus' passion, his crucifixion, and his death. We are invited to get into the depths of it all with Jesus, to feel how deep is his emotional pain. Even if we can only imagine the breadth of his physical pain, that's enough. Because we cannot know the power of his sacrifice unless we really know the suffering cost of it. I'm sorry today I was slurring a bit because of my speech. I'll be okay. It generally happens, these minor palsies, and then in a couple of days I'm much better. I guess it's the strain of last week's mission and this week's Holy Week, and so much has to be organized. So keep me in your prayer, and I will be preaching, God willing, the 3 hours agony at St. John the Evangelist Church, Marol. It will begin at 10 a.m. Yeah, for those who like to attend. I will be preaching the 3 hours agony, St. John the Evangelist Church, Marol, from 10 a.m. on Good Friday. And for our parishioners, remember, I've sent you the program of our services and masses. I want to remind you, wherever you may be, as I've reminded our parishioners, please dress, especially on Easter Sunday, in a way that will bring God glory. There is an appropriate dress code that Cardinal Ivan Dias mandated for the Archdiocese of Bombay, and it has been sent out many years ago. I think some of us have forgotten it. I was very sorry to see that in my own parish we offer people shawls, but I've made an announcement very clearly that those who do not conform to the dress code will be turned away. And some of you might find that harsh. It is not harsh. If you go to the Vatican, they will not allow you to enter St. Peter's, and unless you are appropriately dressed. Yeah, no sleeveless, no short skirts, no short pants. Is considered inappropriately dressed. We can wear all our other clothing everywhere else, but remember, people look at us and we become a poor witness to Christ when we dress inappropriately. And the word is inappropriately. There's appropriate wear for every place, and we as laity and clergy must have the courage to correct one another. I am of the belief that because we are silent, we grumble within and grumble within closed doors. Because we are silent, our church today is suffering, because both clergy and laity all want to wash their hands and say, Baba, this is not my problem. This is our collective problem. And I do not mean to offend you or offend anybody. I wish only to speak the truth. And so I am making a special request to our parishioners. And I have told our ushers clearly, please turn away anybody at any mass if you are inappropriately dressed, men or women. If there's a medical issue why you have to get into a particular outfit, we understand. Sometimes elderly men come in short pants, they are unable to pull up long trousers, we understand. That can be understood. But a young man with no reason wearing short trousers to church, maybe in some other country, in this country, it offends our sensibilities, and we need to show God that reverence. Yeah. So please take my words. I know sometimes people clip only one section of my teaching and send it out, and then it angers a few people. But hey, if the truth angers you, so be it. I am not afraid of someone who is upset because I stand for my beliefs. And just as you want me to respect you, I will respect you in your house. When you come to my house, God's house, you have to learn to respect us. So if you are offended, please also remember we are offended. But in your house, we permit you to do whatever we want. The church will not dictate terms to you in a discotheque. Yeah? But it will certainly guide your heart as to how you should behave anywhere in the world. Being a Christian does not mean being a Christian only in the church, it means being everywhere. But in our church, permit us, priests, to correct you fraternally with love and with kindness. God bless you. I want to tell you there will be no teaching on Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday. I will see you back again on Easter Monday. So God bless you. Have a blessed and holy season of the end of Lent and the beginning of Easter. Don't forget to like this video, and if you find something that you want to share in this that will touch somebody's life, share it and tell them. When you send the video, don't just send it. Say, I like this teaching about Father Warner. Please listen to it. Yeah, and stand by your teaching, stand by your convictions. The more we stand up and own what we believe, the greater will be the growth of the church. Yeah, God bless you all. Have a holy, holy, sacred Triduum.